What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Backpacking Podcast. As always, I'm here with my good friend, Jeremiah Stringer, and tonight, we've got Backpacking with Dad.
Yeah, hey!
Mr. Backpacking. Look at these shirts right here.
What the heck? You didn't think we'd show, did you?
Jerks. For those of you that are listening live or listening online right now, Jeremiah had some shirts made that said "Backpacking with Dad" instead of "Backpacking with Jason." I just zipped my cord up in my jacket.
Is in for it now. Wait till this show's over with. You just wait till this show's over with. That's funny. That's funny.
We have Mr. Backpacking with Jason here with us,
guys. I weaseled my way in on this show.
Oh,
I wanted to be here.
I'm telling you, the day that we told him that we were having the guest that we're having today, this guy begged and pleaded.
He didn't have to work that hard. We love him.
Well, I mean, and he paid us well, so it was great. It was great.
This is sponsored by.
Actually, funny thing about that.
Oh, yeah. This actually is sponsored.
Tonight's episode is sponsored, and it's sponsored by War Bonnet, sewn with pride in Colorado, USA. And I'm sure there are a lot of you who are on here right now who are War Bonnet users. I've had the pleasure of getting to use one of their awesome Thunderfly tarps. It's so funny because the first time I used it, I did exactly what I tell people not to do in my videos. And you handed it to me at the trailhead.
Yes.
I threw it in my hammock and we took off.
Yeah,
so
rookie.
We got totally. And so I got to my campsite and set up the tarp, and it almost set itself up. It's just a fantastic tarp. Big fan of it, and very thankful for getting the opportunity to use that. And one of the things I liked about it, it's got kind of partial doors on the sides.
Yeah, smaller doors.
So it's not quite as heavy as like a full door tarp.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great because it still kept wind out at night. And like I said, it was so easy to set up. And it just set up very simply and worked perfectly.
Yeah, I used the Thunderfly as well. We got an 11-foot and a 13-foot. I took the 11-foot with me, and I threw that, pitched it. My only tarp camping experience. That's what I took, and paired it with my pad. Also, they were nice enough to send us a hammock too. You know, so you got the Thunderfly and you got the Ridge Runner, and the hammock. It is a bridge hammock, and if you're not familiar with bridge hammocks, basically what it is you have these spreader bars at the head and foot, and it gives you a flat lay. It's not like a gathered in hammock. And for me as a side sleeper, it works pretty well. It's a double layered, so you can slide your sleeping pad in there, or you can do an under quilt. I know I saw Midwest Backpacker in here, and I actually watched one of his videos, or maybe it was
R. Pelton.
R. Pelton. Yeah, they go backpacking a lot together. Watch one of their videos about how to set it up, and works perfect. So check out today's video sponsor,
War Bonnet Outdoors. Thank you so much, guys, for sponsoring tonight's episode. And before we get going and going on this, we forgot to do something last week. And,
what you got?
And we got to bring it back this week, and that is the fake news ticker. So it is up now. The fake news is going, and we are ready now to bring on the all-time OG of backpacking hammock camping videos. The guy, the man, the myth, the legend. That is the truth. That's true. Here, Mike, let's get that mic up close to your mouth.
You got it.
There it is. There he is. Now we hear him. But we got to hear Jason. We got to hear Jason. So now, without further ado, Jeremiah, who are we bringing on tonight?
We got Shug Emery.
That's right, and there he is.
I just don't feel I can live up to that intro. I don't know what an OG is. OG, I got it now. Old guy.
Old guy.
Nice to see you, Shug.
I have a War Bonnet hammock too. I have the Ridge Runner, Eldorado. I have the XLC. I love them so much. I have a Mini Fly, a Super Fly, a Thunder Fly. I love them so much. I have the Black Mamba. I have the Wookiee underquilt. Fantastic, fantastic. You know, just a tag War Bonnet. I love their hammocks. I love that the bug net is up off your face when you rig it out. But my favorite thing is when you have the bug net roll back and tied off in your gathered in hammocks, you can lean back and it gives you the best back support of any hammock. So instead of like when you rest in your hammock and you're kind of like this. Oh, I'm so comfortable. You can actually lean back when I'm camping alone, and you don't want to stress it out too much, but you can lean there and you got that back support in camp. Watching the red squirrels steal your food. It's fantastic.
Bro, we're gonna have to
good to be here.
We're going to split the sponsor money with you now.
His was way better than yours. Just saying.
Well, I've had a relationship with War Bonnet for a long time, and I love Brandon because Brandon's very matter of fact. I'm going to do a minute that I could take 3 minutes to do it, but I'm going to do it in a minute and a half because I'm just going to give you the facts on this. Monkey drop. Out.
Well, that's the episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
Okay. For people listening online right now, Shug literally dropped a toy monkey. Dropped.
I don't go anywhere without a simian. I had a teacher one time said, "We have a new student, Sean. He's orangutan-like."
What's that on your shirt, Shug? What's that on your shirt?
That is an F1 thing, right? This is Lando Norris. He's a McLaren driver, and this year he kind of crashed out in a race. And there was there was a chair by the side of the track, and he just went and sat in the chair and went just had a little,
Wow.
Just a little moment.
Now you're a big Formula One fan. You're a big Formula One fan, aren't you?
I'm very much into it. Yeah, I really enjoy it as a sport. I like that European vibe. Like, I don't want to hear an American guy announcing a Formula One race. And I love open wheel, racing cars. I just like the tracks. I don't know. I just love everything about it. And I was born overseas, so I think part of it is just seeing these exotic locales and the turns. I don't want to make it an F1 podcast, but it brings me joy. Could you
drive it? Could you drive it?
No. No.
Not
I'd rather be a pit crew guy.
Shug at 25 years old, could you drive it?
No.
Okay. All right.
No. I want to be the pit crew guy that does this. Jacks that front end up. Don't hit me.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
Oh my god.
So I watch NASCAR, but I just think the cars are beautiful. So
NASCAR's not the same as Formula One for sure.
Not even close.
Different game.
Yeah, both good, but just different. So you say you were born overseas. Where were you born, and when did you come across the big pond?
I'm born in Derry, Northern Ireland. My mother is from Tipperary, Republic of Ireland, and my dad is from Emery, South Carolina. So
quite the combo.
He was a Navy chief stationed over at the Derry sub base. Met my mother. She was working in a bar as a publican, and but that's what they call a bartender there, the publican. And she didn't like him at first. Thought he was a cocky American.
Well.
And so that's kind of my lineage. So I was born in Derry and I lived overseas. We lived in Greece for 3 years. So till I was 7 years old, I lived pretty much overseas most of the time, other than a couple of stints in Shelby, North Carolina, and Emery, South Carolina.
I got you. Well, if it's okay with you, Jason has had these questions written out for the past 3 weeks.
Pull out your piece of paper. Let's see the piece of paper.
He's dying.
This is no joke. He's got them written on a piece of paper.
He told me last week he was so afraid he couldn't ask the questions.
I'm focusing.
Jason, go ahead and ask.
Focus. All right, Shug. Now, some of them are just different topics, but one that I'd like to get your perspective on, because I've been to Linville Gorge a few times, and I know you've been there a lot. But there was one episode where a guy took a spill down a mountain.
Yeah.
And you and Ken had to go help him. Now, if anybody's ever watched it, go back and he's got a playlist of Linville Gorge videos. Go back and watch it. But can you go in and tell me just what happened, or where he was, and what part of the mountain he is on? Yeah,
that was the strangest day. So Hickory and I had just hiked the Foothills Trail.
Yes.
And we tried to do it, we did it in like 5 days, and we always get this 8 or 9 days together every year, usually, the two of us. It's the only time we see each other. Him and I have been friends since the 6th grade. He, senior year of football, I was playing football, and my girlfriend was in the homecoming court, and he was the escort. He's the godfather of my daughter. He was the best man in my wedding. He's that kind of a friend.
Awesome.
And so we did the Foothills Trail, and, we were kind of going, man, we want to save some time for Linville. And Hicks is on Facebook with some of the guys there in Linville, and the day we were getting there, there was a fellow that was leading kind of a day hike out to the Sphinx.
Yes.
And the Sphinx is a rock out there. It's kind of out toward the amphitheater. And to get down there, you take some of these little passages. It's called the Temple of Doom. It's a rocky kind of, it is a rugged hike. And I'll tell you this, I've hiked the gorge a lot, and there were maybe 10 people on this hike. Personally, I get kind of nervous. I'm a little bit of a nervous Nelly. I was going, that's a lot of people. And a couple of people there did not, in my opinion, they had the willingness. I'm not sure they had the experience to really go on something that rugged.
Wow.
With that said, we got out to a certain point, and it's a really sketchy area. And if you're looking at the mountain from the side, it's that steep. It's kind of a burned out area, and you have to, it's a rock face that goes up. And there's a little chute that goes up the middle, and you can kind of climb it. If you're really a good climber, you can climb it. Or you climb this little skinny tree, which I did, most of us did. And you climb this little tree, and you jump out onto this big rock, big smooth rock, and grab it and go up. Either way you do it, it's a little bit shrivelly. There's things clenching. So during this hike, me and Hickory and the guy that fell, Carolina backpacker, Jeremy, which would make the 4 J's with you guys.
Yeah.
We were in the back just kind of talking, and I'd never met him. I'd talked to him online. We'd communicated on posts, but we had never met. So we're hiking along, windy day. So I'm already up on this rock, and there was this one doctor on the trip. He was an East Indian doctor, very enthusiastic. But I was watching him go all day, and he never took his hiking poles off his hands. He just looked to me, this was a little bit of an advanced walk for him. So he was at the bottom of this chute that you can climb up, and a couple of the guys were putting a rope down to help him up it, because it's a pretty sketchy little climb to come up those rocks. So I'm up there listening to this wind, and everybody is over to my left, maybe 15, 20 feet away. I'm standing there by myself, getting ready to get my camera out and just film. And I see Carolina backpacker just walk down there. He's one of the only ones, him and that doctor, the only ones not up the rocks yet. And I see him walk by, and I figured, hey, he probably knows another route up. And he kind of disappears, and I haven't got the camera out yet. I kind of got it in my hand, and I'm just listening to the wind, and I'm hearing everybody's voices off to the left. And I see all of a sudden Carolina backpacker barrel rolling down the mountain.
Oh no.
And my first thought is he screwing around? And, my second thought was going, no, you don't screw around here. No, slumps and stuff. And he came to this little edge, and I thought he was going to stop. And then he just popped over and was gone. And I went to myself, oh my God, I just saw one of my friends die. And so I went over, Hickory was over here with everybody else, and I just turned calmly and I said, hey, y'all, because I'm the guy, my wife always tells me, you're the boy that, never cries wolf. Nobody's going to believe you when something really happens. And I said in a serious voice, I said, hey, Carolina backpacker just rolled over the mountain. And everybody started going, Shug. But I saw Hickory's face. He was looking at me, and he said, man, I knew you weren't lying. That's your tone of voice when you're not lying. And I stepped over trying to see where he fell, and he stopped, and I saw him sit up and fall back down. If you watch this video, I'll have to look it up. It's called Black Hawk Rescue in Linville Gorge. I'll send you the link.
The helicopter came down.
Because we went down there. Hickory and Kenny traversed around. Me and this young kid named Navigator down there. I scrambled down that mountain, holding myself on it to get down to him and try not to kick rocks on him. I was bleeding terribly when I got down there just from thorns and stuff. And really, we just held a tarp over him for 7 hours. Hickory's an EMT, and for that first hour, it was touch and go. He was in shock, teeth missing, holes punched in him, busted knee, and we had to wait for this Black Hawk to come get him. And, you think a mountain rescue's quick. You make a call and they pick you up. No, you got to call the local people first. They had to send out 2 guys that took hours. Thought those guys were going to have a heart attack when they got down there. We almost had to resuscitate them. And then they have to give the proof that he's in bad enough shape for the Black Hawk to come. And I was right down there, man. I've got all the film that whole Black Hawk getting him, and it was super windy day, and that pilot was right up against the edge of the mountain, man. Oof. And it was funny because his wife got in touch with me through that video, and she said, yeah, my husband never tells me what he does. Those guys don't really want a lot of compliments, but he's a badass. And Sergeant McNutt got in touch with me and asked if they could use that video for a little bit of their training, and I said absolutely, just because it was precision. It was, once that thing got there, man, it was all business. But that day when you was a reminder, as much as that gorge will surprise you sometimes. You get cocky there and you slip down a hill or something. And as steep as that thing is, I saw where it just took him. If you fall, it just took him down the mountain. And I don't know what stopped him. We think it was the ghost of a friend of ours or a spirit. Seriously, because there was nothing to stop him. And you'll see that on the video. So it was a crazy day, man.
I never forget that because, anything can happen out in the woods, at any moment, anytime, anything can happen. And I always remember that,
in a moment, it's like getting cut by a power tool. It's 1 minute you got a finger, next minute you don't, it's just,
hey, I build houses for a living. That's happened.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a thumb tip missing here from a joint cleaner.
There it is. I just want to let you know something. There are a lot of people that are on here right now, and there's several comments, and I want to show you this one because I think you'll appreciate
Hello,
this.
everybody.
This is Backpacking with Buckley. He said, fellow Minnesota boy here now in South Dakota. I remember Shug from the state fair as a kid.
Awesome.
He also helps remind me of my own sobriety. He's a great and humble role model.
That's all right.
So I wanted you to see that one specifically.
Yeah, I just spouted out on my last video that I don't talk about it a lot, but if people ask, I've been sober 34 years. I was number one. As my Aunt Wilmer said, Sean, was you falling down drunk? I said, my problem was I never fell down. I kept going and going and going. I would go until people started crying. There was always a lot of disappointment and shaking heads and tears. Not my tears, everybody else's, and then me going.
So I got
too far every time.
I have 2 questions for you. First, the person that fell, how did their recovery go? Have you heard anything?
He's good. He's got a new knee. His worst injury was his right knee. It just shattered his leg. And we were just trying to get him comfortable on the mountainside. And I'll tell you, that guy was a tough nut. For 7 hours to lay there, and we weren't even supposed to give him a sip of water. Hickory, we would give him just a little capful. But they didn't say anything about cigarettes. And when he sort of came to, he was asking, man, I can't find my firearm and my smokes and my stuff. And it's falling off and a few things. I reached down. Once we knew he was going to live, I said, Jeremy, you should let me take a picture of you with your camera or film you with your camera. And he said, would you film me with your camera? And I was going, I was hoping you'd ask that. Once we knew he wasn't going to die, Yes. And so I found his cigarettes way down in his pants. And it was just like those old movies. I popped that old crumpled Winston in his mouth. We lit it. And it didn't say anything about smoking. And he's all bleeding and beat up, having that cigarette,
smoke. Hickory took it pretty bad too. Your all's legs and arms were cut up real bad from hopping down.
Yeah, just from coming down through all the brambles and just hitting rocks. But it was just a panic situation, and I knew I had to go down. There was no way I could have stayed up at the top. And the coolest thing was that group all hiked back to Table Rock parking lot. So we were out there 7 hours till the Black Hawk came. And then when it finally flew off after all of its passes, we're going, who's going to pick us up? We were wiped out from the emotions of it and from just standing on the side of a mountain holding an emergency blanket over him all day just to shade him because the sun was powerful. And we had a treacherous walk out. We had to climb up this steep. The way you go out is not an easy climb. Like you got to kind of pull it together and climb through. And we're just going, mother. And so when we made it back to the parking lot, everybody was there and cheering and just, waiting to hear the news. They were all good enough to get out of the area and not confuse things.
Yeah.
And the good thing was a lot of people could get cell phone signal there. So we were able to get in touch with, I think it was Avery County Rescue right there. The gorge is right on the line between Avery and I think Montgomery County or some county. And so it all got coordinated. And it was a lesson of how nature is going to win if it wants, but once in a while it gives you a reprieve. So it just teaches you just to, I hike alone a lot and I'm respectful, even if it's just a little hill with a lot of rocks, man. I'm old man walking, being really careful not to going, I don't have any backup here.
Mm-hmm.
I can just hit my head weird or something. So, kind of respect it and, just take heed. But that day wore me out. I was so worn out emotionally afterwards.
Anytime that somebody has a traumatic event like that and you're there and, you're providing rescue or whatever, you're not supposed to give them any water because like if they have surgery,
right,
then they don't want any fluid in their stomach, like you're normally supposed to fast. But
it was tough. So we just gave him little sips. But, the thing is now when he's in a bar or something, people come up and go, are you that guy? He goes, yeah, I'm that guy. He can work the room a lot better now that he lived. He's got a story that'll never go away.
Okay, here's my second question.
Okay.
I think it might have been Backpacking with Buckley. Was that the viewer's name that you showed the comment a minute ago? Yeah. So he mentioned the state fair. And for those that haven't had any experience with you, you don't just backpack all the time. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience? What's he talking about whenever he says state fair?
Well, this question comes up, I made my living as an entertainer. Okay. I was a clown with Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus for 3 years.
That is awesome.
Did that from 1980, 81, 82, went to clown college in 79. And when you come out of the circus, the last thing you want to do is ever get a real job again. So you're just trying to parlay this career a year at a time.
Yep.
And, in time you realize in America, you got to take the makeup off because nobody wants to pay a clown anything. You just do all the shtick you've learned. You just do it in your regular face. So I've always made my living as a comedy entertainer, a variety entertainer. And the market, because I live in the Twin Cities, and when we left New York we decided when we finally packed up New York in 1989, we did cruise ships and lived on cruise ships for like 6-7 years. We'd come back to Minnesota and stay in my wife Meg's parents' basement. And we were saving money for a home. Just working, put that money away, work, go out for 8 weeks, come home for 2 weeks, go out for 3 months, come home for 5 days, go out for 4 weeks, come home for 3 weeks, go out for 9 weeks, come home for a week, just socking money away for a house. So the markets around here, I've always been very practical, just going, it was just a job to me. I mean, I love it, but it's a job. It's like you're a teacher, you love it, you put your heart into it, but it's also, my generation was, I did some roofing once, and you probably know this, Jeremiah. Roofing's not a good job for a redheaded boy. People go, "Put your shirt back on, man! It's like staring into the sun." Sunburn and just, it's like we should be in shade. I need to be a plumber. I need to be doing, plumber work.
It's like backpacking with him. It's like backpacking with him, Shug. You get out there in the sunlight, it's just blinding. We make him wear hats. We make him wear hats all the time.
Yeah, man. I'm like.
I have another name. It's called a lot of white meat. A lot of white meat. So I made my living as a comedy juggler all these years. So I've been at the Minnesota State Fair. I've done this year, like everything, the State Fair canceled because of the pandemic. And so I decided to retire from my act this year because I've been doing it 40 years. And, I do all these company parties. Half my year is doing corporate shows. And I do a lot of company parties where it's Oh, they're giving the 1-year award to people, the 5-year award, the 10-year, service award, 20-year, 30-year. You start getting up into 35 and 40 years. It's the one guy going, "Don't make me come up for the medallion. Bring it to me." And that's where I am. And I just decided I wanted to, I've been thinking about it for a couple of years. I wanted to get out of the game while it was good. I love the Minnesota State Fair. I called them up, let them know, because I have an agent that books me. So I retired with him, but I said, I want to call the State Fair and just, it's been an institution for me. It's my favorite gig ever. People, it's kind of like YouTube. I've been there for so long that people come, "This is our 18th year seeing you." And I go, "Why?" Wow. And a woman told me once, "We just like the essence of you." And I'm going, "I don't even know what that means." I mean, I would see me once and keep moving. Sandy, but, so it feels good to get out on top, because I always said I don't want to be one of these old entertainers that just stays there way too long, because show business people never leave. Yep. But I was a backpacker first. So, I was a scout and went camping in the gorge when I was a kid. So people think it's weird that an entertainer will backpack. I'm going, maybe it's weirder that a backpacker becomes an entertainer. I don't know. So that's that story.
On your entertainment business part, did I hear an episode where you said you got to do the White House one time?
I did, when I was with Ringling Brothers.
That is
there's a famous thing. Like when you work for Ringling Brothers, you're always doing promo. So every town you're in, there are these guys, the promoters that cover a region. And so Joe Gold, he was always good, because Joe Gold would go, "Carolina Connection." That was me and Charlie Fry. "Need you guys to go do a gig." And I say, "Joe, here's the deal. We'll do anything you want, but you got to bring us out to a nice restaurant, get a room in the back so we can take our wig off and our clown noses off and have a good dinner without people coming up going, 'Why aren't you smiling, clown?' And have a shot of whiskey before we go back and do the show." Because, you're wearing your makeup all the time. So we did the Easter egg roll at the White House. And this was the Reagan era. And it was quite a day, man. The Secret Service agents do not trust clowns.
Neither does my wife.
Reagan did get shot, so I mean, I just
never thought about it till we got there, and they were watching us like flies on a candy bar. But by the end of the gig, I was going, "Tommy, Jimmy, grab my stuff. We're going over here. There's some kids." And the Secret Service agents were running our stuff around, because they realized we're just harmless. We just want to make people laugh.
And that's what we love about you. You just want to make people laugh.
Yeah, and the coolest part, I don't know if you remember Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom with Marlon Perkins.
Oh, definitely.
Well, me and Charlie were doing our chair routine, our big routine with the Marine Corps band playing, and we have this bentwood chair. It's this one right here that I'm sitting in. And we did all these tricks with the chair, and we're out there doing our thing, and Marlon Perkins is on the side of the stage sitting in our chair watching us, like right here. And so we didn't have the heart to go, "Excuse me, Mr. Perkins, can we get the chair?" So we just improvised, and we grabbed other chairs. And, again, we came off bleeding. Clowns often come off bleeding.
Bleeding?
Because you feel so hard, you got to improvise with stuff that, we're looking at each other. "Take a slap." "Oh, God." When you come off and half your eyelids hanging off. That's why rodeo clowns come up to us and go, "Respect you, we do."
I respect the rodeo clown big time.
It was the one clown we respected, because rodeo clowns just want to be funny. And I'd go, "Hey, Tyrone, man, you don't have time for that. You're diving in a barrel away from a bull. Around a bucking mare trying to save that cowboy hanging by one gonax."
My gonax.
And that gonax is wrapped around a part of his body that we don't want to mention on here. You got to help this boy, because he's 6 seconds in. You don't have time for funny. No time for funny.
Okay. So we got another question online. This is from me. Sorry. This is from Miyagi on the Trail.
Hey,
he said, "What is the best?"
Oh, yeah, I hear a lot about. I got to meet Miyagi. I've heard a lot about him.
You would like Miyagi. You guys get along great.
This guy profiled, man.
Oh yeah. Well, he said,
"What? 34 miles a day, and he wears dolphin shorts, right?"
Yeah.
He would do
with his pockets hanging out.
any kind of cold weather.
He's asking a question. He said best place to eat in Ely for an upcoming Polk trip. He said you always know the best mom and pop places.
Well, in Ely, in town right now, a lot of the places are. Dairy Queen's pretty good there. I always like Gordy's.
Amen. Blizzard time.
If you drive through Cloquet on the way home, Gordy's Hi-Hat is the place, but they close in the winter. They're a summer place, but there's a really good place. It's called it's on the if you're driving to the trailheads, it'll be on your left, and it's called the Front Porch Coffee Place. And what's nice is they have some Greek food there. They have a really good spanakopita and that. And, the Ely Steakhouse is a pretty good place to eat. It's gloomy in there. But I generally am driving through to get down to Gordy's. But right now, when I was just last up there about 2 weeks ago, Alex, my friend Alex. This is Alex getting excited.
Bro, your impressions are top notch. I don't know.
You just did a video with him, didn't you?
Yeah.
You
dude, I could eat one of those Razor burgers, dude. We stopped at Dairy Queen, but yeah, the Front Porch is a good place. They have good spanakopita in there, and they have real cute servers, and his name's Bobby. Or is it a her? I don't know. Stop, Boomer! Stop!
Be a Midwest backpacker.
Oh man, that is awesome.
So, question for you: did you meet your wife in the circus?
We did, yeah. She was Meg came on at the end of my first year, and hold on a second. I'm gonna show you a picture of my wife.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Yes. Great.
Dude, his impressions. And
He dropped the go mix on you.
I know.
I know a lot of people see me and think I'm just some lonely old man. But that's my wife and her trapeze head. But she's wearing clothes. That's 1980s stuff. Right?
Oh my gosh.
But she was a showgirl aerialist and I was a clown. And showgirls and clowns always hang out because we're usually performers that aren't from families that are fifth generation circus. We're people that come from the outside and suddenly you're in this new world. And every one of my friends that, clowns that got married to showgirls, we're all still married. Meg and I have been married 35 years because thank you. You really, after living on that train, you work together, you live together, you travel together. Day in, day out, people warts and all. There's no hiding stuff. And, she stuck with me through my alcoholism. Luckily, she's from an alcoholic family, so that helped. But we'll be at a party sometimes and somebody will come over and go, hey, man, that's talking to your wife over there. Why did she marry you? And here's this is my wife's sexy talk. Sean has potential.
Does she still say it?
She still said, I have potential. Not that I still have potential. And then she's also, and I believe in it in long marriages, she goes, we make a great team. And if you don't make a great team in your marriage, you've got to be a team because you're going for a lifelong, man. It's a long game. You got to be a good team. And I'm so lucky that the reason I loved her from the get-go, other than she dressed like this, but she was the first girl I ever went out with that I didn't feel like she needed me. She wanted me. She kept her friends. She just didn't feel like she needed me. And I was like, because I used to always tell people, hey, keep your friends. My charm wears off in about 4 days. I come in hitting hard, and then I'm going to really be on your nerves. I'm going, I just want to go out with the guys Friday night. I just want to go party on the clown car Wednesday night. And I really don't want to be there because you're going to ruin it for me. And people say that to me backpacking. Doesn't your wife want to go? And she's like going, no, I don't want to go with him.
Somebody was just asking that question. Here's it right here. When is Meg going to join you on a trip?
I would have to carry all of her stuff. She's a spa girl. When my daughter was young, we did a lot of car camping and Cadillac camping. And she only liked that because I did everything. Amen. I was the valet, the butler, the footman, the night nurse, the nanny. I did it all, you know.
It gets hard, doesn't it?
Well, I thought it was easy. It was great, but you know, honestly, I'm, you know, sometimes on backpacking trips, I'm going, well, Meg, do you want to go? She'll go, yes. And I go, please don't, no. Or once in a blue moon, I'll leave and I'll go, okay, honey, I'll see you in 4 days or whatever. So I go, suit yourself. And I go, oh, let me walk back in. Don't leave me on to suit yourself. Just tell me, have a good time. But I love that. I mean, honestly, it's nice to have, we have things we do together, but I get to go because my wife's not with me and just act like a, well, look at me and Hickory doing the Maple King stuff.
I'm just gonna bring up the Maple King.
We get to be 60-year-old men, 62-year-old men acting like 12-year-olds in the woods. And so she's just not into it. We go to nice spas where we got pools and room service. That's what she likes. So we have just, she has no interest in toting a pack and doing that.
When you're with Hickory, you can still get the 11, 12 hours in the hammock sleep. Even
you know, since we were kids, you know, when you're kids and you camp out in each other's yards.
Yep.
Like we used to camp out in Hickory's yard when we were like 6th and 7th graders, you know, Friday night, Saturday night, just sleeping in the yard, walking around the neighborhood. Even then, when we finally got in our sleeping bags to lay down and I'm chatting away. I hear this.
Yeah,
he would fall asleep, and he still does.
When we all go out,
and he snores like a monster, but it comforts me. I love his snoring.
That's right here. That's right here.
That's John at 8 p.m. every night.
Dude, I'm telling you, we get out as soon as it's dark. I'm like old man, father time. Let's go to bed. I'm done.
But you see your friends snoring, like it's when he's not snoring, I'm worried. Big pauses. And I can sleep. His snoring lulls me. You know. So
now, can I say something, Shug?
Yeah.
How come you guys don't feel like that? Like, shouldn't my snoring like comfort you?
No, your snoring's not endearing.
No, I go as far away as I can with
I'll tell you. It's just
me and Jason will
endearing.
say, so John, where are you sleeping at?
Where are you sleeping at?
So
and they're like 200 yards away.
Yeah.
I see you at Kent at Hickory. I don't know what you will call him, Kent or Hickory. But
I call him Kent, but you know, he's always been Hicks. And Hickory was a name we developed between ourselves because it's kind of our names combined. Emery. So it's the ERY of Emery.
Oh,
and so we were always the Hickory brothers. My name's Sean and my name's Kent. We're the Hickory brothers. We did that all of our lives, you know.
I seen you on Rock Jock and the lightning storm.
Yeah, that was a great show.
I couldn't tell what the lightning was hitting or Kent snoring on there. It's like I can't tell which one.
All you hear is whoa, wow. That was one of those trips where you just go, thank you, God. What a show you just gave us. You know, like
yes,
got to be out there to get that kind of show. And you know, it's like once in a while I always figure, you know, I grew up Catholic and I'm not really religious, but I believe in the big three, you know. I mean, I cover all my bases. I believe in Sasquatch. I believe in the Little Mermaid. I don't discount anything. So when that comes up, you go, you know, I always believed in you. I never doubted you. I didn't need you every day. You know, you got a lot of people to look out for. I'm usually good. Hey, take care of them other people. I'm good. I'll call you if I need you. But on that one, we felt like we were given a cool, a really nice 45-minute sideshow. Yeah, it was really good.
Shug, we've got a really important question to ask you. Somebody heard you talking earlier.
Serious all of a sudden there,
this is a serious one. I hope you're prepared for this. Would you ever buy a Gonex pack?
No, but I would work with them to give me one for free.
Is that his channel name? Gonex Hiker? It's Gonex Hiker.
Well, listen, I've heard a lot about the Gonex pack. If you would send me one, I would really do a great review on it. I would talk about every detail. I would give the weights in grams and ounces.
Hey, also, Canoe Hound Adventure said to say your buddy Canoe Hound says hello.
Hey, Canoe Hound, hey, how you doing up there in Canada? He's got a great channel, and I was on his. He does a live stream like you guys, and it's really fun because you get to talk to all the Canadian guys, going, "Hey, Shug, why don't you paddle there, what do you mean you don't have a machine? You don't have a snow machine? What's going on there? You walk? What's with the walking?"
So I want to say a huge congrats to you. You're about to hit 100,000 subscribers, right?
Yes. Big congrats. Big congrats.
Listening to Syntax talk about that, like I've never really kept up with it much.
Mm-hmm.
People have been reminding me for the last year. It's a slow climb. I started this in 2007. So my YouTube thing has just been a slow and steady thing. So I think I'm 9,600 and something. So I'm not good in math. What do I need? About 4,000 more, 400 more? I don't know.
Today I seen you at 99,400.
So I'm quitting at 100,000. I'm done.
There you go.
Who wants to watch an old man? Pretty soon I'll be going, yeah, I'm going to chew my cud now.
We'll watch that.
I watch this. I try to bend over and cut that big toenail. That thing's about 3/4 of an inch. It's like a topographical map of Utah.
That is disgusting.
I got stuff stuck in the corner from socks I wore 7 years ago.
Josh is over here laughing.
Oh yeah, by the way, Shug, you haven't got to meet. We got a buddy that's on tonight who is actually moderating for us. Want to say hi real quick, Josh?
What's going on, guys?
God, I wouldn't want your job. Moderate.
He's our third.
In the background there.
He's our fourth J.
Is he?
Yeah. Josh. Yeah, Josh. So I was saying congrats on the subscribers. I was wondering, so since you're retiring from, I don't know if you call it your.
I've retired my act, which is just that part of my life. I have retired as far as going and doing the gigs I've been doing for the last 20 years. I don't want to be on the road anymore. I don't want to stay in hotels anymore. I don't want to practice juggling anymore. I don't know what is out there for me, because when I've been on my tirades with other acts somewhere going, don't show people ever retire. Then you meet these old guys and they go, well, I've had 4 divorces and invested in a comedy club that went bad. So, I don't know if it's a case of not saving your money, but Meg's always been very practical, and we've always put money away, and it's like lived a fairly moderate lifestyle. I don't need a lot, to be happy. I can always weasel some free gear.
There it is.
So X is on its way.
So since you retired your act, is that going to change anything when it comes to YouTube for you? You putting in more time or anything like that?
Not really, because even hearing Syntax talk about this, I've always had a job. YouTube has never been a job for me. I've always called it mad money, because people go, oh, you must be making a lot of money with that YouTube because you got the Google ad share. I'm going, it's not a lot, but depends on what your a lot is. Sometimes when I mention to people about what I say, my tax guy at the end of the year, I have to pay taxes on, to Google, because Google pays me, because eventually if you're popular enough, they come to you and ask you if you want to do the ads, the little 5-second ads and the little ad up in the corner. And I can choose not to have dating stuff and all that. I just, no political, no dating stuff, just camping stuff and, regular old things.
Sure.
And you make a little bit of money, but I'm just not a guy that follows analytics and stuff like that. So it's only been people telling me about it and that you're going to get a plaque. Oh boy.
Get a plaque.
I don't really care. To me, YouTube, here's what YouTube has been to me. It started when I did my first video after a guy gave me a camera, because I was taking little pictures on my trips with a little Instamatic that would take 27 pictures, and you take it to Walgreens and get the pictures developed. And a photographer friend of mine said, Shug, you take good pictures. So here's an old Olympus camera I got extra. And I was out on a trip and realized it shot video. And I went, whoa, now I don't have to write trip reports, because, none of your friends or family really care about your trips. They just want to know if you saw a bear and did you cry. God, so much, but I was out in the dark by myself. And so I would write all these reports for Hammock forums, my hillbilly pot served me well. It weighs in at 3.2 grams, which is 3.2 ounces, which is 261 grams, whatever it is. So I asked my daughter, Ariel, I said, Ariel, I edited this video. How do I get this on like Hammock forums? And she said, you have to put it on YouTube, Dad, open an account, and then you link it over. You copy the link and then you paste it into the forum. So it started there. And then I realized there were people in YouTube land watching my stuff, Yeah. And in time, Hammock forums used to be my audience. Now nobody cares. I'm like the guy that's worn out his welcome. He's old news. Know it all. You think you know everything, don't you, Shug? No, I don't. I just go out and do it and fail and enjoy it. But it became a YouTube thing. So I've just always seen it as, to be honest, here's what I see it as. You want to know the truth?
Yes.
Because I'm an entertainer. So if I wasn't doing shows, I could get a little cyber applause. Like I've had people go, I had a guy one time, I'd really enjoy your videos if you didn't act like such a 5th grade teacher. No offense, Jeremiah. I could do without all the clowning around and everything. And I'm going, hey, man, you can always click through or watch somebody with all the facts. Because I tried to do a really good one. Hey, everybody, my name's Shug, and this is my drumming monkey. Now, wait. Within 30 seconds, it becomes a parody of myself. Because you have to be who you are. And I realize not everybody's going to like me or like that person or this person. Like a business guy told me once, he said, Sean, if you try to please everybody, you'll never do that. There should always be 3 to 6% that think you're too expensive or too something, because you'll never get them all. So once in a while, I'll get a really mean, horrible comment from somebody, but I've learned nice little comebacks that make them think. You want to hear one?
Yes, please.
Write this one.
Yes.
Don't run your shuck on me. Your anger is self-directed.
Oh, your anger.
Because they're calling me, one time I had a guy said, die, you old Southern cracker, die.
Oh, wow.
So I go, and these people are stupid usually. So I go click on the site, and it's like some 12-year-old gaming kid. And I feel kind of bad. This is in the early days. And I wrote, you'll never have any friends. You don't. And you never will. So you need to look inside, Julio. Look inside deep. Because this old cracker man ain't going to die. And I might be right outside your window.
Now outside your window with the cloud.
That one,
Oh my gosh.
My other favorite one is I go, why don't you go throw a cat off a bridge? Or I write, I bet your fingers stink. So a lot of times they don't know how to come back on it. And I've had people actually write to me and apologize because they were drunk or something, just, nighttime. And on YouTube, the thing is, it's like being a clown. As clowns, we show the best side of ourselves. And on YouTube, you're showing what you choose in your editing to show people of yourself. Yeah. You don't show yourself just sitting around mouth breathing, going, I hate the world, I hate myself. You show stuff. So it gives people the impression that your life is this thing that maybe it is a little bit, but it's not all the way. Here's the power of it. And I love telling this story. So 2 years ago, I'm up on the Spear Hiking Trail, and I got to camp, I was a little early. And I was set up, and these two guys, and it was a camp that was fairly close to the trail you could see in. And I heard some guys coming down the trail, some footsteps, and it was two guys, 30-year-old guys. They saw me and they went, "Hey, man, dude, you're like that Hammock guy, aren't you?" And I'm going, I might be. You that guy that does the Hammock videos? I don't know. Do you like him? Yeah, we love him. Then I am him. And yeah, man, you should. So I'm taking selfies with him, right? And I'm cooking, I'm fixing myself a cup of coffee. So my hillbilly pot, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's an Imusa pot, part of my cook kit. It's in every video. It's this beat up little black pot that I call the hillbilly pot, sitting over there on my fancy feast stove. One of the guys, I see him staring at my thing, and he's filming it, and he goes, "Hey, dude, that's hillbilly pot." I'm going, yeah, man, that's hillbilly pot right there. He says, can we take a picture with it? I'm going, sure. And I'm going over there to get in it. Going, no, we got a picture of you already. And they're posing, 2 guys posing with my pot. And I'm standing there thinking, I'm thinking of how powerful this visual medium is, because we see things on there. I do the same. I get starstruck from people, or, it's like seeing the Batmobile the first time I saw it live at a car show once, going, kind of a piece of crap up close, but in Batman, it really looked cool, and you see it live. And I was just realizing that you have to be careful with this power that you have of people watching you, that you may be inspiring. They call it influencers now. I'm not crazy about that term. I don't think I'm influencing anybody. What I try to be is an inspirer, mainly to people that maybe are 35, 40 and up, see me camping, a guy that's in his 60s, and go, that idiot can do it. I used to do it. I should do it. It looks like he's having fun, to get them back out there, to make that time for it. But that day proved to me, I'm going, wow, this is some powerful mojo right here. You could really affect people with what you put out there. So, they're recognizing a cook pot and taking a selfie with it. That was pretty cool. And not wanting me in the picture.
That's a whole new level when you start getting the people wanting a picture of your cook pot.
Just letting you know, we have some guys on here, and Darwin on the trail just said, I'm stealing the "I bet your finger stinks" comment.
Oh yeah, you should, Darwin. Yeah, I've watched Darwin. Yeah,
Actually,
somebody has those eyes of his.
Somebody asked him earlier if he'd ever get a mullet, because it's really ultralight when you go hiking. I think his reply was simply pass.
I haven't cut my hair in a while, because who cares? Look at that.
That's right.
Care if I ask a question?
Yeah, Darwin.
Jason? Oh, absolutely, man.
I have a question. One of my buddies named Sean Harris, and he wanted me to ask you, would you ever think about putting out a Bluegrass album?
No, because I'm just a jammer. I have on my SoundCloud, I just have links to my jams people can download. But, I've thought that someday I would like to. It's kind of a project I've always wanted to do, and it's going to be really hard to do 15 songs. I have some songs I've written, but nobody ever wants to jam the songs you've written. Hey, everybody, I just wrote this song. You have to kind of play the song. People go, hey, man, that's pretty good. Where'd you get that? When I wrote it, wasn't that good? But to rent the studio, to practice up for a couple of months, and then have my friends come in on different ones. It would be a lot of work. And I just like jamming. Jamming is like backpacking. It's live. You're in the moment. You're tripping on roots. Not everything goes right. I like it when it's kind of live and has a little hair on it. So I don't know on that one. I'm not saying it won't happen someday, because the pandemic is kind of all the jamming. None of us are jamming because we're not getting together. Because when you're singing, you're spewing right in each other's faces, leaning in, doing that harmony. You don't want to sing with a mask.
Yeah.
Like the guy looked at me once and said, hey, man, I'd like to do this song if Shug would do a little harmony. I said, yeah, man, I'll do it. Kick it off and sing it. He goes, all right, here we go. Yeah. Singing. I'm going on. I'm going, what? Come on, Shug, sing the harmony. I'm singing, I'm going. And it's like, I'm going, I can't hear you. You got to belt it out, man. Like Ralph Stanley said, you got to sing like you talk. If you got an interesting voice, just do your thing, but don't try to be something you're not.
There you go. We've listened to some of your jam sessions and actually watched a couple of videos of it. Outstanding.
Oh, thanks, man. I pop it into my videos sometimes. I'll go through periods where I won't put it in because actually I just don't want to hear it. And, sometimes in a scene in a camping video, it's just the music or the quiet of the woods is enough. And then sometimes I'm panting behind the camera, or I'm trying to do a long camera. I'm holding my breath, but I got a whistling nostril. I didn't realize it until I get home and I'm editing the video going, God, I thought it was a bird. It's my nostril whistling.
Nose whistle.
Or you're talking too close to the camera and, you're just wheezy.
One of my favorite musicians from Kentucky is Dwight Yoakam, and I know you sound like Sling Blade a little bit. And Dwight is just, you ever do an impression of Dwight?
I have a video where I play Doyle Hargrave.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. It must be
Well,
too long ago. I forgot it.
I have a playlist with Carl, and I'm sitting there going, I put on the mustache and everything. Welcome to our humble home. Ain't nothing but a humped over retread. Marcy, God damn it! Yeah, just hey, my name. I'm Doyle Hargrave. My name is on that truck.
I'm in
You don't
construction.
know the pressure I have. God, Frankie.
One of my favorite parts is when he says, "I'm in construction."
I'm in construction.
I'm
You
important.
know the pressure I have. My name is on that truck.
That's so
Yeah, well, I didn't mean that, Carl. Welcome to our humble home. White was perfect. That was the perfect role for him because you just wanted to reach in there and slap him every time.
And I know people like him.
Yeah, I do too.
So yeah,
We all do.
Let me ask you a music question, since that's what Jason was talking about before.
Yeah, who wants to talk about backpacking?
Hi, yeah, it's not the backpacking podcast or anything.
That's something up.
What if, hypothetically speaking, I said you only get to pick one instrument, and that's the only instrument you can play for the rest of your life?
Mandolin.
Mandolin, and tell us why. Why would you pick the mandolin?
Because when I didn't start playing an instrument till I was 37, and it just hit me like in a day. I was out here in my nut hut, and I was listening to Bella Fleck and the Flecktones. They were doing a little live remote from a local radio station, and I stopped what I was doing, and I drove to a music store to go buy myself a banjo, and I picked it up and went, "That thing's heavy, God."
They are heavy. They're really heavy.
And I was looking at all the pieces going, it's got this tone ring, a lot of screws and stuff. And I picked up the mandolin, and I went, man, this thing's wound up tight like me. I'm on my way back to the old home. And I just liked it. And I could put it in an overhead. You just pick up an instrument, it feels right. And I already have friends with guitars, and mandolin just accompanies the guitar so well. It's the same fingering as a fiddle, but a pick and strings and frets as opposed to a bow. Like I play a little fiddle, but never around anybody. You don't want to hear that. Fiddle is all the bow, but I just like the mandolin, and you're the percussion in a bluegrass jam. Doing those chops, and then you get to play your lead. And here's the thing about a mandolin. You go to any school that has a music program, you'll see a baritone clarinet. You'll see a piccolo. You never see a banjo or a mandolin.
that's right.
It's just, you'll see guitars, even in the orchestra, every instrument. You're going, where's the mandolin? This poor little forgotten. So ukuleles, mandolins, and banjos, they hold a grudge. And I'll just throw the ukulele out the window. So when Bill Monroe formed the bluegrass music, when he made it as bluegrass, he formed it on the idea of watching jazz bands where that saxophone player stands up and takes a solo. So that's why in bluegrass, every instrument, you take a solo. So as a mandolin player, if you're in a jam with somebody, and I love going to jams, and I never met these people, and you're picking with them, and the guy's singing a song, and you've kind of thrown in your little licks to let people know you can play, and he gives you that head nod, and you got to play a break. And it's just that, I live for that. And an old guy told me once, he said, Shug, if you play in a break and you mess it up, just keep your head down. And if you play in a break and you play it great, just keep your head down.
That's good advice.
He said, you're only a thread away from being right or wrong.
Hey, Shug,
Yeah.
can you still play Rawhide while balancing a chair on your face?
Oh, yeah, I can.
That's awesome. That's a quick answer.
There was no breaking that.
Got it in his back
Not
pocket.
that hard. I mean, I balance a lot of stuff while playing, and it's sort of funny because I actually have to concentrate on the playing a lot more than the balance, even though it's kind of meeting in between. It's one of those things that looks harder to people, and it probably is, but you do have to focus a little bit depending on what you're doing. But it's, you got the chair up on your head. First, you got to find the right fret to start from. Oh, there I am. And you got to really sort of stay into the instrument while looking into the sun, balancing this chair and just thinking. You can't think thoughts like going, I wonder how stupid I look, or do I look cool? What people think right now, this old man, like, these are the skills that God gave me.
I put a chair on my head.
We all get little gifts when we're born, and this is mine.
So, Jason, do you have any other questions that you want to ask Shug?
Yes.
This is Jason's last question of the night, so we got to hear what this one is.
Yeah. Oh, is it the last question?
This is your last question of the night.
I like Jason.
Okay.
Jason gets the last question.
Yes, I do.
Well,
yes, I do. If y'all would just quit talking, I'd like to ask Shug a couple of questions.
Oh, shit. We can go all night, bro. I could talk to you for a long time, my man. Your camping style's a lot like mine out there. We're both a couple old souls. Now, what I guess the most question would be is when you get to come to the Red River Gorge to do a hideaway hike with me, Jeremiah, and JK.
I'm coming down. Now that I've met y'all. I'm coming because, a lot of people have invited me on YouTube, but I don't know them. So it's what Syntax was talking about, that if you do YouTube stuff, and I always give a polite answer to people saying, thank you, I'm honored, but no, because I don't even have enough time to go with my good friends or by myself. Backpacking time is precious time. And I have gone with people from Hammock forums, but the more I camp, the less I want to do it. And a little bit of it is just, as you go on in YouTube, and I'm sure like Darwin was on here, you get kind of recognized, or there's a little thing like if I go to a hammock hang, I have to be Shug for a little while. And then I gotta stop. And being Shug, this is how I am. But if you meet me and we hang out for a day, you're going to see me kind of
course. Yeah.
Like most people, you're going to bring it back. Now, I even get quiet sometimes, but I'm a kind of guy, if I'm quiet, people go, are you okay?
That's what they say to me too.
Hey, soaking your feet in the creek, just listening to the babble of the water.
Right.
Better.
So it's like me and Hickory can go and, other when that camera's on, we don't say stuff a lot of times, we've said it all to each other. And I think everybody that films YouTube videos, I saw Darwin was on here, and I'm sure, this, I don't know what the percentage is. I say when I shoot a trip report or something, a percent and a half of that trip is on camera. Rest of it's just my time. But though I do like having the camera, and I'd love to talk to other, if you guys are YouTubers and how you feel already, because I feel like you get stuck in this world. I'm not sure I could go do a trip now without talking in the camera, and that frightens me a little bit. Like to maybe just take pictures or something, but to be sharing your moment with people, because it gets a little addictive. I don't know what the word is. You're thinking of the people that watch you, but it's changed the way I see trips. And the thing I love about backpackers, and let's keep bringing up Darwin, he's really like putting his life out, doing a lot of miles on trails. I'm I look at myself, I'm just a backpacker. I've done some pretty good winter trips. I've done some few longer trips, but I've been busy doing my career. And I've never wanted to walk the AT or really long distance hike, but I probably will through hike the Superior Hiking Trail now that I have time. But I'm honestly don't know if I am going to enjoy being in the woods for 3 weeks away from my wife. So I need to go see if I like that or not.
Yeah, that was my number one issue, man. I through hiked the long trail. I was gone for a month, and I was like, it's great. And I didn't film a ton of it. And it's great being out in the woods and hanging out with these people that you get to meet. But the whole time there's like no intimacy because you're just hanging out with friends and you don't get to see your loved ones. I couldn't even give my wife a hug. So I was like, I got to hike as many miles as I possibly can, get back ASAP.
I need somebody to tear me down. My wife was coming out here. She goes, well, go on out there, they're little fans. But no, I don't know what it is. It's a connection to the backpacking community. And it's only ever been since a few of them. This is maybe my 4th or 5th live podcast like this that I realized I am part of a community of people that backpack. And in that, you have everybody from your Andrew Skirkas to your people that just want to hike in, car camp or whatever. It's still camping. You're still in the woods. You're still sleeping outside. I don't care what it is. There's so many levels of how you want to do it or how you want to enjoy it. You know, when I was young, probably when I was not Jason's age, but y'all's age.
Should I let him know that I am your age?
He's a little bit younger. Jeremiah's half my age, though. Well, more than half my age.
How old are you, Jason?
I am 48.
All right, 48. You're still just a whippersnapper too.
Oh, I get at it. I promise you, I'm in the woods over 100 days a year. I'm out there.
And I was on the road with my career, you know, and in being self-employed, you've got to take the gigs when you get them, man. You know, it's not like a set schedule. And I just go camping when I can. You know, at the end of fair season, the antithesis of doing state fairs and festivals and stuff all summer is to go backpacking by yourself and just be away from that and feel totally at peace and content with it. Like, I don't feel the need to be on, but I have this little camera here. And we all know that when you turn that when I turn my camera off and look in that lens, I think of this one guy, and he hasn't commented in a long time, but he was pretty for real because I got several comments, and I always imagine he kind of talked like Ralph Stanley a little bit. He said, Shug, I'm sitting out here on my porch with a tin roof, and I'm disabled and used to get out in the woods a lot. I was with the Forestry Service, but I watch your videos, and I live kind of vicariously. I'm smoking my corncob pipe and spitting some tobacco on my coon hound. And thank you for putting these out. And I would read that, and he sent a couple in the vein of that. And I was thinking, for me, that makes it enough that there's somebody that can't be out there. Maybe I'm just one of several people they watch. Maybe they just go down the backpack and chain. But I think the thing about YouTube is we all find people we connect with. Like, some people aren't going to like me, and I know that, and that's fine. They can't all. And I was looking to do a drywall project, working on my kitchen, and I really wanted to get a lot better with my spreading my mud and my Durabond and everything. So I was on YouTube searching, and one guy came on. He's yelling at me right there. He says, he's too much like me. I don't like him. About 5 guys in, I found a guy named Canadian Carpenter, and just had kind of a funny humor about him, but was showing me, like, when you're mudding around your receptacle, you move, go out 18 inches. Don't just mud around it, feather the edges, how to really mix Elmer's glue into your Durabond when you're putting it up so it hangs better. Just a lot of good little tips that, man, I was nailing my sheetrock. So I liked his personality. They all had the info, but he was, I enjoyed every morning for about 2 weeks watching him. Just send him a little comment once in a while going, hey, man, thanks for the tips. They're really helping me, And
did the project get done?
So it's kind of interesting how YouTube is a personality thing.
Well, and can I tell you something too, Shug? I went down to Grayson Highlands this past, I guess it was August or September. And one night, a bunch of us got to this campsite, and we kind of had a community campfire that night. And so there was a group of us, we were YouTubers who were all hiking together. There was another group of ladies that had all come. They were all college friends who met back up and were hiking together, and this father and daughter. And they all come over and we start talking. I'm talking to the father, and he says, so you guys are YouTubers? Yeah. I said, oh man. He goes, do you ever watch Shug? That was the first thing out of his mouth. I said, why? I said, because he's the one guy I can watch with my kids. Well, and he goes, and I love the fact that Shug is that guy that it doesn't matter what age you are, like whether you're a beginner or you're advanced at it, you can always get something out of what he has to say in his videos. And so that was, I heard that in Virginia from some random dude I'd never met before.
Well, it's interesting because I told people, I said, I'm going to give you some info in my how-tos. You're just going to have to weed through a little bit of me. Because if I can't have fun doing it, I don't want to do it. My daughter said to me once, she said, Dad, aren't you horrified every time you upload a video and then you hit public? And I go, oh, yeah, kind of.
Yep.
There's always a moment of like, there's about 10 things I should have cut out, because I'll put my little outtakes or a little juggling thing. And I think eventually people find if you're not their cup of tea, why keep coming back? It's like I told one guy, why do you keep watching me if you hate me so much? Here's another thing I'll type. I said, I think actually you like hating me, so I'm doing you a service. So you actually like me. Why don't you pump me up?
Hey, anytime you get nervous hitting that upload, do you ever just go back a couple weeks later and see where it's 50,000 views and be like, shoot, that did good. It's like, yeah, all's well. I
pretty much move on. I I very rarely rewatch them. Just sometimes some of the Maple King stuff, because just when me and Hickory are doing that, I laugh so hard. But I'll look back sometimes at like some winter stuff just to see what I was wearing in that particular season.
Yeah.
And I look back on videos. I have videos 15 years old. I still wear the same stuff. So it's
somebody actually brought that up in the comments. They were like, "You still have the same gear and same clothes and backpacks and stuff like that."
It's good gear, and I won that Backpacker Magazine Tough Guy Challenge years ago, where somebody had sent, Shug, you should send in your video as a gag. So there was this criteria about first aid, meeting animals. I put the little clip of myself coming face to face with a wolf. I did myself doing a neti pot in the woods where I'm sitting going, kind of my head close. And I'm actually did. I had like sinus infection, so I'm sucking salt up my. It's so much better now. And that was my first aid, and I won the thing, man. And I turned down the trip to go climb Mount Rainier because I realized I said I don't really have any interest in mountaineering, and there's nowhere to hang my hammock. But I took the $1,500 worth of outdoor research gear and wear that stuff to this day, man. So that was kind of funny that I won that. And I was like, just something I did as a joke, you know. I told him, I said, give the Mount Rainier trip to the second place winner or someone else. I don't want to be on some fixed rope with some 27-year-old girl going, hustle it up, old man, dig in the crampons. Well, I don't really have any interest in mountaineering. I like the woods, you know. Yeah. I like being in the woods a lot better.
Well, Shug, it has been almost an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know. We haven't really even talked about hammocks, and thank you.
And so what this means you have to promise
hammocks. Hammock.
You just have to promise us you'll be on here again.
Oh, I love it. This is fun because I actually sincerely, it is fun to meet people in the community. And I'm not a big joiner. I'm really kind of a loner. You know, when I did a year of therapy one year to find out if I was crazy, it wasn't to go get medication. I was just, you know, a lot of my sister-in-laws going, you're crazy. You're so obsessed with everything. And I go, no, obsession makes people cry. I'm passionate. People are jealous of passion. People are jealous of my passion of things. So I went in for a year of therapy, and at the end of it, finally, I was curing the doctor. And I said, okay, Dr. Bob, based on my criteria, what am I? What's up? He said, well, you're a spirited introvert, and you were probably manic when you were drinking, but now you're able to come right up to the manic fence and jump over it and come right back. You jump in and you come back. And I go, okay, yeah, I do. And because I don't have the alcohol fueling me anymore, but I still love it when people think I'm drunk. Hey, dude, what are you drinking? I'm going, espresso.
The door at that, right?
Yeah, when you're a spirited introvert, you get jacked up by the energy of people, and that comes from being on stage all my life. Because I'm backstage, they're announcing me. There's 1,000 people out there. I got to go out and do an hour or do 30 minutes, and to me, it's like no matter who is backstage telling me what to do or what not to do, I walk that final 30 feet. I face that crowd, me and them, and it's taming tigers, because in the end, you got to go, I got to kind of win them over. I can't suck. I can't leave. I got to do my time. So, you bring you're kind of down, simmering your pilot light, and when they announce your name, the flame is burning, and you just go burn it out, and then you come back and go, Miss so tired. You got that 5 minute after the gig energy, then you're backstage. Go, I'm so tired. Midnight. I know. But so a spirited introvert, one of my techniques, and I do it to this day, is whenever I go to a party and when they're social, I go work the room. I go talk to everybody. Hey, man, Jeremiah, redheaded guy, red on the head, few and far between, the best of all the rest. Hey, Jason, how you doing? Good to see an old dad here. John, hey, man, good to meet you. How do you know the party owner? And I make a lot of noise. And everybody goes, man, you were out there just cutting it up the whole time. I was going, no, I did about 15 minutes, and then I'm out back with 2 or 3 people, So it's a technique of meet everybody, tell them a lie, shoot the breeze with them.
Tell them a lie.
I'll lie if there's nothing else. Anything, but once they want to start talking politics or Vikings, I'm going to go, let me tell you about me. I'm going to tell you something. But, and the thing is what you said about the man with his kids. I'm very aware that people watch they send me a lot of times of them watching my videos with kids. And I always played my shows that way. I don't swear in them. Now, you hang out with me by a campfire late at night and I start telling circus stories, you're going to see a darker Shug. That's Sean. I'm going to take it, I mean, I look at it as going, I could drop the F-bomb every other thing. I'd probably get more views if I dropped the F-bomb and talked about body parts more. But it's backpacking, and you're only going to go so far, if you want to be a YouTube star in the backpacking world, because it's very much a little niche, there's something out there for everybody. And I always played that way with my show. But yeah, I'm kind of I can be pretty wild at times when I feel comfortable with people and go, sometimes I'm ashamed of myself, y'all. Where I walk back to my hammock and go, I shouldn't have said so many dirty words.
No judgment here.
Come out of it. I just needed to purge those dirty words.
2 words I want to hear before you get out of here is woo,
Woo,
buddy.
buddy!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking
later,
about.
before I go to bed, I go to my wife and go,
she says, no, it's not Saturday night.
I never say woo buddy in real life that much. It's a guy one time on YouTube, and it was kind of funny. He was kind of wanting to get into a religious discourse with me, and he was asking me why I don't thank God more when I'm out in the woods. And I wrote to him without thinking. I said, when I say woo buddy, that's me thanking God. That's me thanking Shiva, Haile Selassie, every spirit, every animal, every tree, everything. That's me going, thank you. I'm out here in the woods. I got some food. I get to sleep out here. I'm at peace with myself. Because you guys don't, I think only people that backpack know, and those of us that go regularly, and I'm sure you guys, I'm 100% sure that you feel some sense of peace when you go out there. There's a comfort. Like, this is where I belong. It's like a kid after school, me and Hicks playing in the woods, building forts. Our mamas couldn't hit us out there. We're away from our homework. We're just in the woods, and you go, sure, we could drown or a tree could fall on us. I'd rather have a tree fall on me than my mother hurt me with some more words. I just mother can backhand you, and then she hurt you with words.
Getting in the woods makes you feel like a kid. Always.
It does, but there's a sense of peace because we wouldn't go there if we didn't feel it because it's way too much work. To walk, set up camp, tear down camp. It's I always go winter backpacking. I'm always going, it's a lot of work. It's twice the work in winter. And the only reason I do it, Shug, do you love winter? No, I live in winter.
8 months out of the year.
Or not. No, I look at winter as that friend in school going, well, I'd rather have that guy on my team than against me.
Can't.
Now you can't. Some other guys, you go, I don't ever really want to go out with him, just me and him, but I'd rather him like me than not like me. So I'll finagle and finesse this guy. That's how I feel about winter. It's like I wouldn't be camping for half the year, and since you guys like talking poop so much. Oh my God. Let me tell you this, because
he knows us. He knows us.
I camped out in -40. All right.
Yes.
Honestly, it might have gotten a little colder than that, but my thermometer, it hits its lower limit at -40. We hit LL.
Incredible.
I still think it was probably -42 or something, but at that point, it doesn't matter. It was otherworldly, and we got a perfect conditions. There was no wind. But everybody asked about pooping there or peeing. And I was going, I just got out and peed. It didn't freeze in the air. And I just pooped. You go back in the woods and you're digging a snow hole and burn your paper. And I said, when you got to poop, your body's, when you got to poop, it's like, you got to go. Your body's churning and it's working. And I said, so it's like probably by the time I was pooping like -34 degrees. And I'm just sitting there looking at my lily white thighs and every hair just standing up, looking at chicken skin and quite comfortable. You don't want to linger, but you're sitting there with your pants down, squatting over a hole going, not bad. It's like the body is doing its thing. It's on fire.
It's warm.
no trick to it, you know. That's my report. It's sort of like an amazing experiment, you know. And I don't hang off the tree. I'm a squatter, legs out, squat, bombardier, pilot the bombardier, you know, get it on. But
hey, let me throw this out to you, Shug, since you're the king of hammocks here.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm more the jester of hammocks.
Oh, okay.
There's plenty of other guys that'll tell you they're the kings and the queens. I just hammock like everybody else. I just do videos on it so people think I know more than I do, and I don't. I know.
Well, I have a buddy, and I took it on our last trip, Land Between the Lakes. Jason was on this trip.
Yeah.
He saw it not in use, but he saw it hanging on the trees. There's this thing that my buddy sewed called the porta-privy, and it's basically a hammock seat.
I have seen those,
but it's got just a hole in it. And I'm telling you, I am not a huge fan of pooping in the woods, but this is a game changer, man. We got to get you one so you can at least see. Oh, John, see,
that's
it.
So everything is dangling through that hole.
It all comes out here, Shug. It all comes out. Why am I touching it?
I don't. Between a couple trees.
Ooh, my fingers stink.
Put that between a couple trees, and you're good to go, brother.
My fingers stink.
You definitely want to be checking your suspension on that one, don't you?
Yeah. No, you have to make sure on the suspension.
We're lucky in Minnesota because, like, when I go camping in the gorge, in the Limbo Gorge, the one thing I don't like is you got to go down the woods, and it's like a turd minefield. Because people are, and people are just leaving toilet paper and now in Minnesota, even in the boundary waters, every campsite has a fiberglass latrine back there somewhere.
Wow! So
all your turds are in one place. They're all gathering in the little turd disco. There's a door. You sit on that thing. So you know when you do go and have to dig a cat hole, and I dig a cat hole, and I dig mine first. I'm not a guy that goes and then digs the cat hole and rolls it in. No, that's uncouth. Even an emergency. But I like to sort of, with each day when I'm in the Linville Gorge, I'm working on my squat. Because the first day I'm sort of nearly standing up. Oh, God. And then your knees start to get supple. And then, you know, by day 5 or 6, man, you're squatting right down. You can just drill it right in the hole. So it's good to maintain that skill of squatting, or you were talking to, I heard you guys talking on some podcast, do you lean back off the tree or hang it over? I never did do the hanging over the stump thing either because I was always scared I'd sit on a slug.
Oh, yeah.
Would you ever do a wag bag?
Nope.
Thank you, Shug. Thank you.
Well, there was one time in the Linville Gorge at the cathedral site across from Cathedral Falls. It's real steep. And it was mine and Hicks's last night. And we were in the phases where we would eat nasty stuff. And we'd done pork hocks and God, we did liver mush, and and I woke up at about 2:30 in the morning, and it was Night Duke talking about your Night Duke. I was on fire, man. I was running out of the hammock. There's nowhere to go, so I had to kind of go up on a rock, and I just laid it there and wiped up. And I said, I'm going to have to deal with this in the morning.
Oh, no.
And I did not sleep well knowing that it was just out there, open to the world. And this. All right, I won't get to. It took almost, I had to like carve a piece of bark that was like a shovel to get it in a baggie and then have to go up and bring it up somewhere where I could bury it. Then I got the baggie and I'm like wrapping the baggie in 10 baggies and I'm hiking out because it was our last day, and I was melancholy and morose just knowing that nasty baggie was back in my pack. I was. Me and Hickory will do this thing like when we're hiking. We talk, but you know when you're doing a day's hike and it gets to be about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and you still got 4 miles to go. We always do this. You just got your head down chugging then, right?
Yeah.
We always do this thing where we go. Not so chatty now, are we? I just want to get there,
Look what Ryan said. He said he definitely brought it back to the backpacking podcast talking points. That's the truth.
I listened to a lot of y'all out here messing around and painting and stuff in my studio, and was listening, going, "Those guys really do like talking about poop." And but I honestly think it's a subject that's not talked about enough, because apparently a lot of people do not know how to do it in the woods properly.
No, they do not.
You know, it's one of those topics you don't talk about like just in your normal everyday life, but when you get around backpackers, give it about 20 minutes and it comes up. Always comes up. You end up talking about poop.
Shug, I had a guy hold it so long that he ended up pooping on himself.
Oh,
And I said, dude, just go poop. And
Well,
he
I
went,
heard somebody was talking about, like, I camp with Jonah, sometimes Jonah and Alex. It'll be 3 days in, and Jonah's going, I haven't pooped at all.
how's that possible?
I'm there, man. Breakfast in the hammock, have my couple of medalliadoros and all that, and I'm gonna go. You know, it's clockwork.
I'll say that with that espresso, you're going. With that espresso, you're going.
And last trip, Alex was getting right out of the hammock and coming right by me, pooping before coffee, and I'm going,
Rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
I don't know, man. My system's changing. He was having to go back there groggy, but I feel like if I ever held a backpacking course, I would cover pooping in the woods before I taught him how to use a tent or a hammock or a sleeping bag or cooking or first aid or how to basically do map and compass, anything going. We're going to cover pooping first. I need y'all to go over there, chow down, have some coffee. Let's all sit around a while.
Everybody
We're
ready?
all going to practice. All going to practice.
oh, that is awesome. Jason, let me ask you a question, man.
You asked me? Go ahead.
Was this everything you thought it'd be?
And more. Shug, you're the reason I hammock. You're the reason I probably started YouTube. And I really have enjoyed talking to you before the show and during the show. A real pleasure. A real pleasure.
You should have heard us before the show, people.
hey,
Hey, that's where the good stuff happens.
what happens in Kentucky
hanging
stays in
around.
Kentucky. What happens in Kentucky stays in Kentucky.
Even the moderator's coming in going, too much, guys, too much.
I sent him back to the corner. I said, hold on, it's not live.
Are we okay, Josh?
There he is.
We're good. We're good.
And I like those lives in and whoa.
But seriously, it's been a joy. You know, all the years I've watched your channel and everything I've learned from you, I really, really appreciate it. Everything about this show. You know, I never tell these guys I want to be on this show or this show. This was the first time.
He actually hates the podcast, but he heard you were coming on, and so
you're making me feel very uncomfortable right now.
Sorry, Jack. You're getting ready to go back to your wife. And your wife will ground you later.
Well, Jeremiah, I want to say something. You're a teacher, right? And you teach what, fifth graders?
No, my wife teaches 5th grade math. I teach high school math.
High school math. Okay.
Yes.
Here's an interesting thing. Like, mathematics was my worst subject. I do not get it. All right. And my father was a Navy chief, and he taught me 4 words. One time he said, son, benefit of the doubt. Then he counted his fingers. Benefit of the doubt. Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
And my dad would say things like that and just sit there. And I was going, come on, Dad, don't do the Sphinx thing. Just spit it out. He'd go, you know, your mother's going to make me put you on restriction if you bring home that bad grade in math. So you need to go up to your teacher and ask if you can do an extra credit, because just by asking, you will get benefit of the doubt. He said, they know that you want to try to do better. And he said, for you, don't try to do any math equation. You got to come up with something else. So I went to my 9th grade algebra teacher, Miss Mills, and I parlayed this bit of information. And I said, Miss Mills, I know my grade average is about 26. And that's only because I play football, because it's not really about 18. And I said, I cannot come home with an F. I have to be able to get this, or a D. I have to be able to get my math grade up to a C-. So what I'd like to do an extra credit, and I need to know how many points I need in my grade to get there. And right away she said, about 110 points.
Wow.
So I said, can I do an extra credit? She said, you better deliver. So I wrote a poem and I illustrated it on a piece of, illustration board, poster board, brought it home, and it was called Casey at the Board. And it was a takeoff of Casey at the Bat. You want to hear it right quick? I think I can.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I performed it in front of the class. I wore a suit. And I got up there and went, well, things were just not working for the algebra class that day. Test they thought was easy turned out to be hard as baked clay. So when Epstein got a 0 and Spinelli couldn't pass, a mood of deep depression could be felt throughout the class. The teacher thought it a good idea for the class to review the test. She called O'Brien to the board, but he went, my brain needs a rest. They said, if only Casey were in the class right now, we'd have a chance to learn this stuff because he would show us how. And suddenly, their eyes lit up. They heard footsteps on the floor that rattled off the teacher's desk, that echoed off the door. They rumbled through the whole classroom, and the teacher thanked the Lord for Casey. Lucky Casey was advancing to the board. His nails were richly manicured. His face was deeply tanned. His suit was iridescent silk that cost him $50,000. And this man you've heard so much about and the students talked of so was the man around town in that algebra class. That was the man around town in that junior high school. Called him the algebra pro. There was ease in Casey's manner as he picked up the chalk and got set. His hands were steady as a rock. His palms were free of sweat. And with confidence, with quiet pride, without further ado, he asked them in his gentle voice, is there anything I can do? K plus 3, a voice rang out, raised by a -8. And a hush fell over the whole classroom as he lifted his chalk to the slate. Well, the cool is drawn from Casey's face. His eyes are tense and keen, and all along his sun-drenched brow, deep furrows can be seen. And now he calmly slides the chalk across the board of green. Suddenly, Lucky Casey stops. A look of horror can be seen. Birds chirping, wind blowing. Oh, somewhere in this wealthy land, there is a happy spot where algebra is really fun and genii, I know it's geniuses, are running hot. And somewhere flunkers are coming up and passers scream and shout. But there is no joy in this algebra class, for Lucky Casey has flunked out. With apologies to Ernest Lawrence Thayer. So,
That's awesome.
I did the point.
Remember it.
Well, the reason I remember it because she came up to me. She said, "Sean, would you like to get out of all your other classes for 2 days and perform this for all the math classes?" And I was like, "Yeah!"
All right.
Right away, I'm going, "Man, I'm in." You know, this is like I'm out of all my other classes and I'm performing. You know, and doing this thing. So then, come 11th grade in geometry, I could get the answer. I couldn't do the formula. So I taught myself to juggle for extra credit. And I got in front of the class, you know, and I'm kind of going, I'm going.
Always going to judge.
So I get in front of the class going, oh,
Yes.
infinity.
Awesome.
This is infinity.
Infinity goes
Exact
on,
best
on.
geometry.
Wow.
Isosceles. Triangle. And I just went on. Then when I would drop, I go chaos. And I just did this whole thing. And the math teacher was one of my football coaches. And when I was done, he said, "Well, class, Mr. Emery has seen fit to teach himself a freak show skill." To pass this class. Grade point of 104. So he's not beaten by his father's Navy belt. And put on restriction. And the whole class voted, "Oh, he's in," because I ate up a half hour of class just up there mucking about. So it was kind of my first taste of performing. So my science teacher came up, my 10th year high school reunion. This is the point of the story right here, Jeremiah, as a math teacher. He came up to me and said, "Sean," name was Mr. Porter. "You know, Sean, you were smart in things that we couldn't grade you on because you lived around the world. You spoke a lot of languages, but just a little bit, but we didn't have Tagalog or Japanese class." And he said, "And your mathematics, yes, you were horrible at it, but that juggling led you to a career." And here's where he made his point. He says, "What was your nemesis became your ally." And I've always remembered that if you're bad at something and you just trying to find a way to work your way through it and skirt around it, it may just become the thing that you do. So it was like, you know, being bad at math led me to find juggling to perform in front of the class to try to get my grade up to a C+, so I wouldn't be on restriction, so I could go out with all my friends to the gravel pit and act up. So
Hey, it led you to the White House.
So good teachers can really really inspire. And I've often thought that, and, gone back and visited a few of my teachers that go, you challenged me, you changed my life. You made me look at things differently. You looked me in the eye. You took the time. You were fair, firm, tough on me, like a football coach grabbing your face mask going, "You're killing us, Emery." I'm going, "I'm making every tackle."
Jeremiah
I told my daughter,
too.
I respond to that more than going, "Well, just get in there, Sean. If you don't feel like doing it, just sit down. You don't have to." So,
yeah, I got a lot of that in football.
How long is this podcast now? 2 hours and 15 minutes.
It's been going for a bit, but it's been a lot of fun. So
Shug, man, I tell you, in Kentucky, we have the 3 R's. In school, it's reading, writing, and arithmetic. And we just live by those 3 R's, and we get along pretty good.
Thanks for sharing that story, man. That is awesome. And you're an inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, what is your nemesis can become your ally.
I love it.
That's a good
Awesome.
saying.
John, you want to wrap us up?
yeah, man. But before we do that, thank you so much, Shug.
Thanks, Shug.
We seriously, we got to have you on.
We're brought to you by War Bonnet Hammocks, located right there in Colorado.
Hey!
One of the greatest hammocks in the world today. There's the El Dorado without the shelf, which is my favorite go-to. Check them out. War Bonnet Hammocks. Hard to spell, fun to say. 2 R's, is that 2 N's? Is that 2 T's? Or 1 N and 2 T's? Or 2 N's and 1 T?
Well,
oh my gosh. And for the record,
the check will be in the mail.
That was not reherrersed. We didn't ask you to do that. That is amazing.
That is.
Oh my
Awesome.
goodness.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. We got to have you on again. There was so much we didn't talk about.
Hey, and let me thank everybody that hung out through this thing and comes in and joins these, because I put it on my community page. I appreciate those people for doing that. I know it's a lot of their time, and support this channel. And thank you guys so much for being out there as well. It means a lot. I can't see you, but just knowing you're there, it's kind of like talking to the camera at camp. You can't see who you're talking to, but they're in that little SD card in there. People go, "What was that camera he had? That little orange ball? I've never seen that one. What was the weight of that in grams and ounces? How much is that? Is it a battery?"
Man, it has been great. It's been an honor.
Oh,
it's been great.
fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Shug. If you hang out in the green room, we'll talk to you here in just a second. But
right.
We're gonna shut things down. Thank you so much, man.
All right, I'll wrap it up.
Ooh, buddy.
Oh my gosh,
Boys.
That was a blast.
that was
Boys.
incredible. That was so much fun.
Awesome.
So,
Over to Josh too.
Yes,
Oh, man.
thank you, Josh.
Yeah, Josh. Let me ask you, Josh. Did you have a good time?
I think I just witnessed the best thing I've ever seen in my life. That was an hour and a half of pure gold, 100% pure gold.
Well, real quick before we sign off, just want to remind everybody, next week we got another big star coming on.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Andrew Skirka coming on next week.
Awesome.
And we're super excited about that. We've also got some big podcasts coming up that are audio only. And so you guys know, we do audio podcasts that come out every single Wednesday. Just look up the Backpacking Podcast on any of your podcast players.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we mentioned last week, and we'll go ahead and mention again this week, is by June, we won't be doing these podcasts on mine and Jeremiah's channels anymore. They will only be done on the Backpacking Podcast YouTube channel. So make sure you guys get logged into that.
And the audio only podcasts are not audio only on YouTube. Our YouTube Backpacking Podcast channel is like this, right?
Yes.
So you get the video and audio. So make sure, if you want to keep enjoying these live streams, go there and subscribe and check it out.
I highly
Absolutely.
suggest checking this one out. Shug. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, you just watch him. My goodness.
Yes.
gracious.
If you're listening right now, make sure to go back and watch. Oh my gosh.
If you missed any of this, definitely go back and watch the rest.
Yes.
Amazing.
You got to.
But thank you, everybody. Thank you
Yes.
for joining
Yes.
us.
Thanks.
Such a blast. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
I
Josh.
appreciate you too. Let
Backpacking
me
with
on.
Dad. I
Yes.
appreciate you, man.
Backpacking with Dad.
That's all right.
Well, thanks a lot, guys, and have a great night, and we will catch you on the next go round. Wow, man.